Good afternoon. In this video, I am going to explain you the another most important topic in the transaction management, that is concurrency control protocols. So in the last session, we discussed about the serializability. So what is mean by serializability? We have serial schedule and parallel schedule, right? So if the serial schedule and parallel schedule gives the same result, we call that as the serializability. Now in order to achieve the serializability, we need to have some conditions. We need to put some conditions under the write and read operations, right? That means what? Whenever you are performing any reading operation or any writing operation on the shared data of the database, we have to put the lock so that some other person cannot do the same changes to the database. For example, consider there is a joint account, right? So in this joint account, some persons are having joint account X and Y. Togetherly they have amount of 10,000, right? Now from this joint account they have no password for a someone is using app, someone is using credit card or debit card. Now if this X person want to take 1,000 rupees from this, and if this person want to add some 1,000 rupees to this, right? So which operation should perform? For example, consider first debiting is doing. So 10,000 minus 1,000, 9,000 will be there, right? If after that, if you perform this operation, 9,000 plus 1,000, overall it becomes what again? 10,000. But if both are doing at the same time, for example, Y is assuming that in previous case we have 10,000 in our joint account, now I am adding 1,000. So it will be 11,000. At the same time, Y is thinking that there are 10,000, I am subtracting, I am taking 1,000 rupees, so it will be 9,000. But after some time, if they both are watching the amount, so he thinks that the amount will be 11,000, he thinks that the amount will be 9,000. These two persons are not at the same location, so but total amount is what? 10,000 only. He thinking 11,000, he thinking 9,000, but the amount will be what? 10,000. So here they are not getting a clarity on this issue. So what we have to do? So this is the common data, account amount. Account amount is a common data for both the things. So what we have to do? Wherever the common variables are there in the database, we have to put a lock when you are doing a transaction. After doing the transaction, you have to unlock, so that what happens? When you lock, the data is not going to used by some other person. So in this example, consider, take X. X is seeing amount as 10,000 and applying a lock and doing debit 1,000, the amount will be 9,000. Now he has to unlock. So if he unlocks, then only this Y can perform operations on this 10,000 amount. Until unless X unlocks the data, Y is not going to start his transaction. So there we'll have a clarity that transaction is not updating. Y sees that message, so understands that, so okay, X is also doing a transaction, so at the same time I cannot do. That message can be understood by the Y. That means one transaction is doing means another transaction don't want to perform the data on the shared amount of data. That means shared data wherever we have like this in the database, that is only accessed by only one person at a time. So in order to achieve that, we are using the locking methodology. So in the locking methodology, the first protocol is shared and exclusive lock protocol. So this is a simple version of the shared protocol. Now in this we need to have to know two things: shared lock, exclusive lock. So in the shared lock, whatever the data you are giving the permission as shared lock, that can only read by any persons at that particular amount of time. If you are writing exclusive lock on the data, anybody can read and anybody can write on the common data. For example, consider here there is a variable x. So this x is a variable common to some 5 persons. Say, if I am applying shared log is represented by s. Now I am applying shared log on x. I want to perform some operations. So if I am giving shared log on this x variable and unlock x, till this amount of time some other 4 persons, so I have 5% common data, this one, so one person is using shared log and executing some operation. Remaining this 4 person can only read this data in this time. Why? Because we are applying the shared log on the x variable, so that any other person can only read the data. That kind of log we call it as the shared log. Clear? Now next we have exclusive log. In the exclusive log technique, in this exclusive log protocol, if you are writing exclusive log on any amount of data, any kind of data, that means we are giving a permission to write as well as read only. Consider in our example, here we have x is a common variable to 5 persons. One person is want to put the log on this x variable. So that means the shared log will be represented by x. So take other case. Why? Because x and x both will be same. I am taking y. Y is a variable, right? Y is a variable. 5 persons are commonly using this y. Now, if I apply a log, exclusive log is represented by x. If I apply exclusive log on y, this is doing by one person. So you want to perform some operation, at last he is unlocking the data. Right? Now, in this case, whatever the amount of time this data is used by, this y is used by a person 1, remaining 4 persons also can read and can write the data in the exclusive log. That means read permission is only given for the shared log. Read and write permission will be given in the exclusive log. And we have some conflicts whenever we are doing the serializability concept. That is, read no conflict, write conflict, read write conflict, write conflict. What is meant by conflict? For example, this y used by 5%. One person want to write some 10 to y. At the same time, another person at the same time, this is a transaction say T1, this is a say transaction T2. So here we are writing write y. Initially y is 5. Now in this case I am writing 10. So y becomes what? 5 will be gone and 10 will be there. At the same time I say read. At the same time I say read y. What happens? Actually this transaction T2 thinks that y have 5 value. But here the same transaction time, this some person is updating y value as 10. At the same time he is reading. Now what value he get? Now this transaction you get the value of y as 10. But what? Initially we have the value of y as 5. So what we should get actually here? 5. That means this we call it as the read write conflict. Either you perform read operation, write operation, or write operation, read operation, and write operation. If you perform any kind of these operations in different transactions at the same time, you get a conflict. So this we call it as the conflict serializability. Right? Now, if these are the cases, to overcome this conflict serializability problem, we introduced the locking protocols. So in that locking protocols, the first one is the shared and exclusive lock protocol. So in order to achieve the shared and exclusive locking protocol, we have compatibility chart. So what is this compatibility chart giving? Here we have two options. One is request, one is grant. Grant is nothing but giving a permission. Request is nothing but requesting for a lock. Now if you are applying a shared lock on a variable, If requesting also for shared, so you can give the permission, right? You are applying a lock on a variable with yes, and you are requesting for applying the exclusive lock, you are not supposed to give. That means shared lock means only read. So read and read, you can give the permission. But here read, requesting exclusive is nothing but what? He may read or may write. Exclusive means what? Read and write. So whoever requesting this exclusive lock can read and write the data. So you are not giving the permission. Why? Because one is reading, so another person cannot read and write. For example, one person is reading the data and database getting lock on the same data to read the permission. Read, read. Here I said read, read, no conflict. So read and write, conflict. Again, so this is write and read. This is read. So write is there, read is there, conflict is there. Now here write and read, here write and read. So again conflict is there. So in only R and R case you are not having any conflict. In remaining all cases you have a conflict. By using this compatibility chart, database will give the permission to read or write the data over your common data. So this is all about your exclusive lock. Next we will discuss about one more locking technique, that is a very most important and common locking technique. So please understand carefully. Now this is a time stamping ordering protocol. So first we'll see what is mean by timestamp ordering protocol. So, timestamp is nothing but a unique for every transaction. That means what? For example, at 10 a.m. I'm making a transaction, that is I'm crediting 1000 rupees to an account. Next after at 10:01 a.m. I'm debiting 500 from the account. That means this transaction time is different. This transaction time is different. That means in your database each and every transaction have unique time. That means on a shared data X. So take ABC and a person unnadu anukundaam. So this ABC person has debiting and crediting on an account. So this transaction is different, this transaction is different. So these two transactions have different time slots. So with the help of these time slots, we can guess that which transaction is going on, which transaction is younger, which transaction is older. So by using younger and older concept, we implement the timestamp ordering protocol, right? So this tells the order. So manam principles em follow avutamu eppudaina FIFO, first in first out. Here also whichever the transaction is coming to the first to the database, that operation is going to perform. Clear? Now in these two terms we have read timestamp, write timestamp. So read timestamp is nothing but last transaction number which performs read operation successfully on the data. Write TS is nothing but last transaction number which performs write operation successfully on the data. Here, as we know, the read have no conflict, right? So we discussed earlier. So for read and read, no conflict will be there. For read and write, conflict will be there. For write and read, conflict will be there. Write and read, conflict will be there. So for this, we don't have any condition. But for these three operations are going to perform when multiple transactions are running at the same time, we have a conflict problems. So we have to consider these three conditions, right? Here I have some conditions here. So the first condition is if transaction Ti, consider this is the new operation of read A operation. Now if WTS, write timestamp of A transaction, is greater than the new transaction, roll back Ti. Why? Because this operation is came to the database first, so this is came next. That means this operation, whatever the write operation is performing on A, is greater than the read operation. So which is came to the database first? Write operation is came. If this is the case, then roll back the Ti. Cancel this process and perform the write operation, whatever the operation we do. That means set your RTS value is equals to maximum value, which may be maximum that you should consider. Now here transaction Ti issues the write operation. So RTS of A is greater than this, that means this operation is came first. So roll back this. If it is of write operation also, this is one came first, then this one is came, so roll back. Otherwise, execute the write operation and set the WTS as the new transaction, whatever the transaction performing, that we consider as the TSI. Now, I'll tell you this concept with an example so that you will understand very easily. Consider here 3 examples we have, right? So, first one, there is a transaction T1 and there is a transaction T2. Similarly, here also I am considering T1, T2 and T1, T2, right? So, T1 is came at 100 second, T2 is came at 200 second. These also same, 100 second, 200 second. So, T1 100 second, T2 200 second. So, in this case, which one is the older transaction? T1 is the older transaction, T2 is the younger transaction. So, in any of these 3 cases, remember that first, if the transaction T2 performing any operation than the T1 operation, T2 must be rejected. Why? Because T1 came to the database first. Remember carefully, any operation is going to perform either read and write by the T2 in 3 cases. You must roll back that, because the older transaction you should give the preference, right? Now, for example, consider transaction T2. There is a variable A, in that we have the amount 50, right? Now, T2 want to read the data of A. So what T2 want to do that? Read the data of A. So if it is reading, what is amount is there? 50 is there, right? Next, after some time, T1 want to write the data 10. So what happened? This 50 will be overridden with the 10. So now in this case, if T2 is reading A, what the value will be? 10 only. Why? Because here 50 will be overridden with 10. Now this 10 will be readed by T2. But actually what T2 thinks, I have updated the value as, I have read the value as 50 first time. If I read the same value, I am getting 10. So here we have a conflict. Why? Because, so this is a older transaction. This is a younger transaction. So older transaction performing any action after performing the action by the T2. So T2 must be rollbacked. If not rollbacked, you will get a conflict. We are assuming that the value is 10. Here this T2 thinking that if before I read, the value of A is 50. If I read, the value of A become 10. How it's possible? See, it is wrong case, na? So whatever the value is there, that has to be updated. But this T2 is not updating. So who is updating? T1 is updating. So you are getting a error over here, conflict over the here. So we should avoid this conflict. So in order to avoid the conflict, what we have to do? Until R2 finished the work, we have not to give the permission to write the data to T1. Clear? Now, so if you roll back this operation Ti, what you are performing here? Ti operation. So this is the case. Look here. So this is a write operation you are doing with the older time, and this is the last read permission. So this transaction has this time. So this is the next time. If this is greater than this, you have to roll back Ti. Clear? Now, if I perform write A operation on A with the amount as 20. Now, this read operation is performed by transaction T1. Now, this T1 thinks that actually amount of A is 50. But T2 is updated as 20. Now, what the T1 thinks? Actually amount will be 50. But here what you are getting? This T2 overwritten the 50 with 20. Now, R, if you read A value, you are getting as 20. So T1 thinks that the value before is 50, now it is 20. Here we are getting a conflict. That means this younger transaction is performing action until unless it completes a transaction, we are not giving the permission to older transaction. Here also you are getting a conflict. So we should roll back this one. We should roll back this one. You are not supposed to going to perform the action. Why? Because we are giving some time, you performed. Now T2 is going to perform. After completing of T2, then T1 should perform the task, so that you are not getting any conflicts. So here read write over, write read over, next write write case. Now write A. So here I am writing A value as 30. Now here this transaction T1 is performing write A operation with 40. So here 50 is updated by 30 and 30 updated by 40. If I read, what I will get? 40. If I read, what I will get? 40. But write A of T2 is doing 30, but here you are getting 40, which is overdone by T1. So here also you are getting a conflict. So here also you should roll back the action. That means what? Whichever the transaction is started first, that gives permission and completed task and given to another transaction that is doing task. Until unless T2 completed, T1 is not going to start. If T1 want to start, we should say that roll back your transaction. T2 is not completed his transaction, we have to inform. If you perform these conditions, then only your database will lead to the consistent state after transaction, so that consistency property of ACID is satisfied. Otherwise your database will lead to the inconsistency state. Clear? So just remember, whatever the operations are there, don't be confused with that. The younger transaction is performing any transaction, then older transaction if performs, just roll back that. Clear? So this is about your timestamp addering protocol. Based on the time only it is running. And the last one is two-phase locking protocol. So this is a simple version. This is also here two-phase locking protocol. It is two things: growing phase and shrinking phase. Locks are acquired and no locks are released. Growing means what? Consider a plant. It's also grows, right? After some days, if you cut branches, it will come down. Yes or no? Similarly, here also, first we have to apply all the locks in a transaction. Then after, release the locks in a same order in which you are considering. So, growing means assigning the locks. Shrinking means releasing the locks. Here in a transaction T1, first I am locking shared lock on A, lock exclusive on B. So, till here I have completed my transaction. All the locks are assigned. Now, I want to release the locks on A and B. So, in which order you have to release? In which order you assigned the locks, in the same order you have to release the locks. First assigned A, then assigned B lock. So, first release A, then release B. So, this is not related to T1 and T2. In which order you are assigning the locks? Assign all the locks, then you must release. So, once lock is assigned, then released, then assigned, then released, it is not the case. First assign all the locks, perform your task and release the locks. Clear? Now T2 also, see, here lock SA. So A shared lock. Next D exclusive lock. Now lock exclusive on D. Now say transaction is over here. My work is over. Now what we have to do? We have to unlock all the things. Now so which is first locked? A. First release the lock. Next which is locked? D is locked. Now unlock that. Next which is locked? D is locked. Again also unlock. Unlock X with the D. So that means in which order you are applying the locks, in the same order you have to release. Clear? So all the locks are assigned, then only unlocking will be start. One lock, one unlock, one lock, one unlock will not be the case in the two-phase locking protocol. Is it clear? So these are the three important locking protocols.